So it has been a few months since I last timed myself for 24 hours to see how much I could read in that span. And I've done it a few times now, and I find it a lot of fun, honestly. It's fun to kind of just really focus on reading for a couple of days and see how many books I can actually get through. So how I do my 24-hour readathons is I time myself on my phone, and whenever I stop reading, I stop the timer as well. So it normally spans over the course of 2 to 3 days. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I cannot do the traditional 24-hour readathon where you stay up for 24 hours straight and just read the whole time. I just find sleep far too important, and not only that, I just honestly do not think I could physically do that. So this is the way that works for me, so it's the way I'm going to continue to do it. So with that being said, I already have a few books that I want to get to in this 24 hours. So the first one is 13 by Steve Kavanaugh. I've had this on my shelf for years now, and it's always sounded really good. I've just never picked it up, and I think it's about time that I do that. So this is a book about a murder trial, and one of the jury members is actually, I guess, the killer or a serial killer. I don't know if he's actually the killer for this murder. Definitely sounds very intriguing. And this one is 352 pages, so a bit on the longer side for a 24-hour readathon, but I definitely feel like a thriller slash mystery is the way to go for a readathon because they really keep you engaged and make you want to keep reading to see what happens next. So then I also checked out an audiobook on my Libby app. It is called A Serial Killer's Daughter by Carrie Rawson. So this is an autobiography, and it is written by the daughter of BTK, who was a very notorious killer in the States for like 30 years, I think. So this one's definitely going to be interesting. I wanted an audiobook for this 24 hours just so I could kind of clean around my house and, I don't know, maybe play some Minecraft or do a puzzle or something while still reading, just to kind of break up physically staring at a book. I also think I want to bake cookies later, so I could listen to it while I do that. Then another book I kind of chose just to break up reading like big physical books is Woe by Lucy Nisley. I think I'm saying that last name correctly. This is just a cute little collection of comics about a house cat, and it looks adorable and funny, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to just kind of add a graphic novel to the mix. And I also chose a collection of poetry because I haven't read poetry in a while. So this one is Please Love Me at My Worst by Michaela Angemir, and the reason why I picked this one out is because I was just kind of reading through these sections of poetry that there are, and the first one is called Please Love My Inner Child, and I really liked that. I've been feeling very nostalgic lately, so I feel like this one's really going to resonate with me right now. And then the last book I have on my TBR for this readathon so far is Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. I have a lot of Colleen Hoover on my shelf that I have not read yet because Colleen Hoover tends to be hit or miss with me. There are a few that I really like and a couple that I've read so far that I cannot stand. There seems to be no in between, but I thought maybe I should pick up a Colleen Hoover and finally try to get through some of them, and Regretting You was the easiest one I could grab that was on my shelf downstairs, so that's the one I picked. This one I'm a little nervous about. I have no idea what it is about going into it, and I'm hoping that it's one of her better ones, but I guess I'll find out. And if I finish any of those, I might pick out like another audiobook from my library or pick up something else to read, but I honestly think that this is a doable little stack of books. So on that note, I think I'm going to get to reading, and I am going to first start with 13. So I'm now 2 hours and 46 minutes in, and I'm on page 111 of 13, and so far this book has been really good. There's a few scenes that have reminded me of more recent episodes of Criminal Minds and like Criminal Minds Evolution, and like some of like the darker stuff as well. So that's something I have to say about this book. If you're into stuff like Criminal Minds, so far that's kind of the vibe it's getting, and actually the BAU just got involved the part that I'm at. And the copy that I own is actually pretty interesting too. I got it really cheap and I thought it was just because it has like this little permanent mark on it, but I actually think it might be because it's a bit of a misprint, just because like hopefully you can see that this picture so far has been the only issue that I've seen, but it's actually going over the writing, which is a little weird, and I've never seen that in a book before. I'm not sure if that's going to be kind of like a repeated problem in this, but it's not really that big of a deal. I think I like spent $5 or $6 on this book, and in Canada that is very cheap for a book, especially one that's been released in like the past decade. So my boyfriend and I actually just got back from going for a walk as well. I kind of felt like I needed some fresh air, and it was really hot outside, so we were not out there as long as I had hoped to be, but at least we got a little bit of fresh air. Since I've been sitting in this chair for like 3 hours though, I thought maybe I'd kind of take a break from reading 13 and pop in my earbuds and start A Serial Killer's Daughter. I think I'm going to do that, and maybe start a puzzle right now, and then hopefully clean up my kitchen a little bit and then bake some cookies. So I'm now basically 7 hours in, and I ended up getting 66% of the way into A Serial Killer's Daughter. I started a new Scooby-Doo puzzle, and then I did end up baking cookies, which obviously took a few hours to do both of those things, but I feel like I'm absolutely flying through this book. It is definitely eye-opening. So this woman is BTK's daughter, and she had no idea he was a serial killer until he was arrested and charged with 8 murders in 2005, and some of the murders that happened took place when she was a child, and one of the women he murdered was even one of her neighbors. So that's absolutely insane. I could not imagine finding something out like that and having to learn to accept it. It's just crazy. It's definitely interesting to read, or rather listen to, someone's perspective on this and try to wrap my brain around that sort of situation. I'm definitely finding this read very interesting, but my earbuds ended up dying and I did not feel like plugging my wired earbuds, so I decided I'd just charge those ones and come up to my office and start reading 13 again, and I'm hoping to get a couple more hours of reading in before I go to bed. So I'm now just under 8 hours and it's just after 2 a.m. So I think I'm going to get ready for bed and probably maybe read for like a bit longer before I go to sleep. We'll see how that goes. I am feeling pretty tired right now. 8 hours is what I expected to get to today, so I'm not shocked that that's kind of where I'm ending at. I think that's where I've ended at the last 2 times that I've done this as well. I think that's a decent amount of reading. I am almost halfway through 13 now. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to finish it and move on to a couple of the other books from my TBR, but we will see when we get there, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. So I'm now just under 14 hours, and I read 13 for a couple of hours earlier and actually got to page 272, and I'm definitely loving this one so far. It's really good, but it's also really reminding me of Whispers by Dean Koontz, as well as multiple Criminal Minds episodes. I'm wondering if the author drew inspiration from some of these things, or it's just a coincidence. I don't really know, but it's definitely right up my alley. And then my boyfriend and I actually played quite a bit of Minecraft earlier too, so I ended up finishing A Serial Killer's Daughter, which was also very good, but I think at parts it kind of got away from being the daughter of a serial killer and more how her relationship with God kind of changed and evolved over the years because of being the daughter of a serial killer. I don't rate memoirs, so I'm not about to rate this one, but it was a very interesting read, and I guess I recommend it if you're into true crime and you don't mind a bit of religion and different people's beliefs, just because I know that that is obviously a very controversial topic when it comes to reading and stuff, and I wouldn't want to recommend anything to anyone who wouldn't be comfortable reading that. I finished that, and then I wanted to cook supper and still listen to an audiobook while I did that, and then it just so happened that today a book from my library became available that I've been waiting for since February, so I jumped at the chance to check that one out and started reading that while I cooked supper. And that is Counting the Cost by Jill Duggar and Derek Dillard. So obviously Jill Duggar is one of the kids from the infamous 19 Kids and Counting, and this is her memoir about growing up in that family and also moving forward after pretty traumatic experiences. This one also has to do with organized religion, obviously, so keep that in mind, but so far I am really enjoying it. I think she's doing a very good job at telling her story in a way that can make you see it from the perspective she was in at the time she lived it, and now actually looking at it from an outsider's perspective as well. But I'm 28% of the way into that one now, but I figured I would actually come back up to my office and try to finish 13 in the next couple of hours, hopefully, because I would love to hit like the 16-hour mark today, just so then I only have 8 hours to read tomorrow as well. But if I get past that, that would be amazing as well. But with that being said, enough talking for me. I'm gonna finally get back to reading. So I just finished 13 and I'm now just almost at 16 hours. This book was so good and the end absolutely shocked me. It was like kind of like the end of an Agatha Christie novel where you thought you knew how it was going to end and where it was going, and then it completely takes you by surprise. So obviously I'm going to be looking into more Steve Kavanaugh books. Also, I did not realize this, but I looked this book up and it turns out it's number 4 in a series. I had no idea. I kind of got that vibe like a few times that the author was alluding to something that I should have already known, and I definitely didn't. So it felt like I was missing a little bit. So now I'm thinking that I'm probably just going to listen to some more of Counting the Cost while playing some Minecraft before I go to bed tonight. And then hopefully tomorrow I will pick up one of the other books from my TBR. So I'm now at 20 hours and 17 minutes, and I just started Please Love Me at My Worst. I'm actually already on page 81, so this is reading really fast. So I definitely do think I'm going to finish this one in the next few hours, just because I think it'll take me no time at all to finish it, like honestly probably 10 minutes. It's definitely short and sweet, and a lot of the poems in it are short and sweet as well, but there have been quite a few that have resonated deeply with me. So then I also have been playing Minecraft quite a bit today, and I ended up finishing Counting the Cost. This was another really eye-opening read, and I really enjoyed it. If you have any interest in the Duggar family at all, or you liked the documentary Happy Shiny People that's on Amazon Prime, I highly recommend this book because Jill Duggar did such a good job at discussing really hard topics. Honestly, it was definitely a very interesting read. So now I'm thinking I'm going to read Woe, but here's the thing. I also really want to get back into playing Minecraft with my boyfriend because we've just been having such a good time with it today. I'm really enjoying kind of spending the time with him. So don't hate me, but I did actually check out another audiobook from my library so I could still read while doing that. So it's I Hate Everyone Except You by Clinton Kelly. If you don't know who Clinton Kelly is, he was the gentleman on What Not to Wear. And I think I saw somewhere that him and Stacey London are getting another show or something called Wear Whatever the F You Want. I don't know if that's true, but I hope it's true because that would be absolutely amazing. Anyway, this is his memoir. He's definitely a person that I'd like to kind of know more about, and I feel like he would have some interesting stories to tell. And that one was available now, so I checked it out, and I do think I'm going to listen to some of that while playing Minecraft to kind of close out this 24 hours of reading. You know, technically I'm not reading a lot of physical books this time around, but audiobooks still count, and I've just been having such a good time spending time with my boyfriend. I want to keep doing that. Anyway, I'm probably going to go do that now, and then maybe after a couple of hours I will finish this and read this. I don't know. I'm assuming neither of these are going to take very long, so I will talk to you again when we get to the 24-hour mark. I have finally made it to 24 hours. It is 1:26 a.m., so I am getting a little bit tired, and I'm really glad that I've finally got to my goal so I can spend the next hour or so just not reading. But I ended up getting 71% of the way into I Hate Everyone Except You, and this book is turning out to be about what I expected. Clinton Kelly is absolutely hilarious, and he has a really funny way of telling stories and really engaging the reader and making you laugh like every 3 lines, so that's really great. It's been a very fun listen so far, and it is narrated by him as well, and he has an amazing voice to listen to. So, and then I also finished Please Love Me at My Worst. This one, like I said, very short collection of poetry, but I did really enjoy it, especially the last part, Please Love Who I'm Becoming. I really think that one hit home for me for a few of the poems, and I reread a few of them as I was going because of how much I liked them. And then I am so close to finishing Woe. I didn't make it quite to the end, but I definitely will be finishing it in the next day or so. It's very short but very funny, and the art style is super cute and simple, which I really love. But literally at certain parts I would like point at a picture and point at one of my cats and be like, that's you. And you just did that to me 5 minutes ago. So overall, this has been a pretty fun time. I did read quite a few pretty good books. I ended up finishing 4 books, 2 of which were audiobooks, and then a poetry collection and 13. And then I almost finished Woe, and I'm almost finished another audiobook too. So I'd say that's a pretty successful 24 hours. And I definitely cannot wait to do this again, maybe in October. That would be really fun because hopefully I'll be into some spooky reads by then. But anyway, I think I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you have a great rest of your week and happy reading.